everyone. I am Dhwani Mathia and today we are going to study the second chapter of class 12th English, The Lost Spring, The Stories of Stolen Childhood by Anees Jung. Jung was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood in Hyderabad. She began her career as a writer in India. The Lost Spring chapter has two lessons. First is, sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage, and second is, I want to drive a car. Part 1. Every day the writer sees a young rag picker boy named Sahib. He visits the garbage dump near her house and searches for gold in it. The garbage contains useless, thrown away things, but he searches as it contains gold. Here the word gold refers to things like shoes, money, bags, etc. for children and food, clothing and means of survival for their parents. His home was in Dhaka in the middle of lush green fields and they had left it years ago. His mother had told that storms had destroyed their homes and fields, so they had to migrate to cities for new opportunities. One day, the writer asked him why he searched the garbage bins, and he replied that he had nothing to do other than rag picking. The writer suggested him that he should go to a school, but it was meaningless for the poor boy because he had no money. He told that there were no schools near his area. He would enroll in it if one is built up near his house. Writer jokingly asked him that if she would open a school, would he attend it? After a few days, he asked the writer if the school was ready. Writer felt sad and ashamed at making a false promise. Sahib was not hurt at all, as many people had made false promises to him earlier also. Writer once asked him his name, and he told that his name was Sahib-e-Alam. He didn't know his name's meaning, which was Lord of the Universe, but it was opposite to his life. He did not wear any footwears and roamed in the streets with his friends. Writer asked one of them that why was he not wearing any footwears. He replied that his mother did not give him, and as they were kept on a shelf, he could not take it. Another boy who was wearing a different shoe in each foot said that even if his mother would have given him, he would have thrown them away. He wanted to say that he was not wearing shoes as he didn't want to wear. Then the writer asked the second boy why he was wearing alternate shoes in his foot. He did not reply and tried to hide them. A third boy spoke that he wanted a pair of shoes as he had never owned one in his life. Here the writer wanted to portray the condition of those children by taking the example of shoes. The writer had seen many children not wearing shoes in the country, and they gave an excuse that it was a tradition. But actually the real condition was that they had no money to buy a pair. The writer narrates a story told to her by a man from Udupi, a town in Karnataka. When he was a young boy, he used to walk to the school. He would cross a temple where his father worked as a priest. He would pray to God to bless him with a pair of shoes. After 30 years, when the writer visited the temple, the place was nearly empty and a priest lived in the backyard of the temple. There were plastic chairs kept there. His son wore a grey-colored school uniform, socks, shoes, and hung a school bag on his shoulders. The financial position of the priest had changed drastically in the 30 years. He could now afford shoes and education for his son. Now the writer describes the area where the rag picker lives. The name of the area is Simapuri. It is located on the outskirts of Delhi. In 1971, the rag pickers had migrated from Bangladesh. We had talked about Dhaka, and the area was a wasteland then. Now about 10,000 rag pickers live in the mud houses, and the roofs of the houses are made up of thin tin or tarpaulin sheets. There is no sewage, no drainage, no water facility given to them, and they have to live in unhygienic conditions on the land, and that too illegally. Politicians have provided them with ration cards and voter IDs, and they get grocery in return to their vote. They have left Dhaka to satisfy the hunger of the families, as the fields were ruined by the storms and they had no food to eat. So they came here in the search of food and the means of survival, and the children also helped them in rag picking. So for them, garbage is as precious as gold. Sahib was happy whenever he used to find a rupee or a 10 rupee note in the garbage. He searched for more each day in hope to find something else. Once writer saw Sahib standing by the fence of club watching a tennis game. It was winter morning. He liked the game but could not play it. He had once entered the club as the guard had allowed him to take swings, and he had to wear old tennis shoes which were discarded by someone. He tried to manipulate by saying that someone had given to him, but actually they were thrown and he had picked up from the garbage. They had holes, but he could not afford anything better than that. He normally used to walk barefoot, and it was like a dream come true to wear a shoe. His desire to play tennis would never be fulfilled. Once writer met Sahib while going towards a milk booth, and he was holding a steel container, and then he told that he had got a job at a nearby tea stall and he would get rupees 800 per month and meals too. Writer could see that he had lost the carefree look and he was now working for someone else, his master, and he was burdened by the responsibility, that is child labor. Earlier he was his own master, but now he could do nothing according to his own wish. He has to follow whatever his master says. And now the chapter part 1 ends. Thank you so much for listening to me. Please give a nice feedback. I will cover the second part of the chapter in my next video.